Being able to clean it has the added benefit of being able to take it apart real easily and then putting it back together whenever you need to clean the insides of it. So let me get into it. These are the parts that I put together, and I'll go ahead and assemble it, and then you can see me use it and burn it, and you can see the smoke, how it actually works. Saves you a ton of money as opposed to buying one online. Online they're several $100s. I've seen them very expensive. This is just parts. I made very few modifications to the existing parts that I purchased. The first part is the can. Believe it or not, this is very difficult to find. If you're trying to find something stainless steel or something like that, this is hard to find. I found this at Goodwill just for $1. This is just a tin can, and I put 3 holes in it. This is where the air will be sucked in, and you can also light it right here. This is where you light it. One tip is to definitely put, this is like a small piece of tin, just to divert the wood that you put in to go down to the bottom. Otherwise, if you don't have this piece in there, it will sit at the bottom and it will burn just over here where you light it, and you'll have to be constantly opening it up and pushing things over. Whereas if you have this in here, you get a nice slide of your wood chips or your wood pellets down to where it's being lit, so you don't have to really do anything per se. So here's a can. That's the first part. That's the base. The top part I did was drill a hole, rudimentary kind of a hole, and then I used a galvanized steel base with just some bolts, and then the rest is screwed on. You can get these parts at any local Home Depot or Lowe's or anything like that, and they screw in, so that, like I said, you can take this off, you can unscrew it, and then that goes like that, and then you put the T on, and this, you need this because this is the way the system works. So you screw this on like that, and then this will be where the air comes in or is pushed through, and then this other side is your little pipe where it will come out. And these can just be hand tightened. You won't have to worry about smoke escaping from them. But that's the part that goes there, and then this goes on top like so. And then let me show you the other part. This is the part where the air flows through. So this is all brass. You can find this at the compression section where they sell. This is a 1/8 of an inch little piece of copper with threads, and this is a fitting. So this goes 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 inch, and this is a 1/4 inch male with a hose barb, a 1/4 inch hose barb. And you just put all that together. Again, it's just hand tightened. You can see, just tighten it all together. The only modification I made on this part was to grind down these little parts right here. And the reason I had to do that is because when you put it into this, it actually has to kind of sit inside. It's important to remember that this tube has to go far enough in to where the pipe comes over here. That way the air can be sucked through the canister up and out. So when you put it in like that and you light, the air is sucked in through these holes, and that keeps the fire, not the fire, but keeps it lit and keeps it going. And so the air is sucked in through there, and it's pushed out through here and through here, and so you get the smoke coming out right here. And you can use this for coal smoking, or you can use it in addition to a smoker you already have to give it more smoke. It can just produce a tremendous amount of smoke. This canister right here, I only had it about half filled, and having it half filled, I tested it and I got about 2 hours of smoke out of it, and it was pretty quick. One word of advice: whatever air source you hook it up to, this right here is a 1/4 inch hose, so this can be hooked up to an aquarium pump, but you can also modify it to hook it up to a compressor. But if you do hook it up to an aquarium pump, you got to make sure you have a pretty tough large volume aquarium pump, because if you don't, you'll just get like the smoke barely coming out. So what I've done temporarily is I've hooked mine up to my compressor, and on the next segment I'll show you what it looks like when it actually smokes and is pushing out and burns. So that just goes in like that, and then I'll show you what it looks like next. Okay, so I went ahead and lit it in the little holes I showed you. I just used a little propane torch, or you can use a lighter like this, but it'll take a little longer with something like this. But once you get it lit, I have this hooked up to my compressor, and once I put it in, you'll start seeing the smoke coming out. You can see there it goes, start coming out pretty quick. You do need this in for it to work. If you pull this out, it'll eventually die. It relies on the air to come out here to keep the air to be sucked in through the little holes. You'll see the little embers. You'll notice once you put this in, the little embers start kind of stoking up. And you can see the smoke's coming out pretty heavy. I have mine hooked up to my compressor. It's maybe a little higher than what I actually probably need it. But you can, again, this is real cold smoke, so you can use this for cold smoking. You can use this for your additional smoker, but it will put out a lot of smoke. I only put in about a cup, and then only fill it up about this much. Like I said, the container you have is real important. That's going to be the hardest part to find. It's probably your container, getting a good one. This one's only made out of tin. I plan to get one made out of stainless steel, so it'll last me a little bit longer. But there again, because this is interchangeable, I can just pull these little bolts off and put it on another can whenever this one gives out on me, or for whatever reason. One thing I wanted to show you up close, you see as soon as I pull it out, it stops coming out, is the brass fitting. You can see here the way I have it set up. This is the 1/8 of an inch to quarter inch male with the hose barb right there. Just want to give you kind of a close-up of it so that if you go by the parts, you know what it looks like. There again, you got to have it where it does like that, otherwise it won't go through. You can hear my compressor kicking on. As soon as I put that in, the smoke starts coming out, and it comes out fast and a lot of it. So it's a really good system. I do recommend also putting some sort of a base. I just put an upside down ceramic plate right there, because this thing will get pretty hot over time, over having it on for a while. This will remain relatively warm, but it won't get hot. But this down here will get hot, so you want to make sure that whatever you're setting it on isn't flammable, because it may get hot enough to burn or scorch or anything like that. So you want to have that going, and like I said, you get a lot of smoke out of it. If y'all have any questions or comments, you can leave them, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I hope this helps. It took a lot for me to modify it to fit, to get all these parts working. Probably the hardest part was getting this little thing to work. This is real easy to assemble, but this little part right here, getting the fittings to work, because you need to get a small enough pipe that fits in here, so you can imagine how that gets more difficult. But if you can I bought all this stuff at Home Depot and Lowe's, so you should be able to find it, if not there, at a local hardware store. But I hope this helps everybody. Happy smoking.